to draw a face. When drawing a realistic face, it is important to think about and beware of proportions. A realistic drawing is all about observing and measuring and about breaking down complex subjects into simple shapes. Now, if you observe faces closely, you will see that faces consist of 3 equal parts. The space between the eyebrows and the top of the forehead, where the hairline is, it's equal to the space between the eyebrows and the underside of the nose. And that space is equal to the space between the underside of the nose and the chin. Being aware of this comes in very handy when drawing, because this gives you some anchor points and a base to draw from. Just like the space between the eyes. The space between 2 eyes is approximately 1 eye in width. Now also keep in mind that eyes should always be the same in size. So maybe you can squint 1 eye, or your subject can squint 1 eye, but still the eye socket and the eyeball, they will always be the same size. Now the eyes also serve as an anchor point when drawing the nose. So if you draw a straight line down from the corner of the eye, you will see that you can easily determine the width of the nose this way. Now to start drawing a face from scratch, we will use a technique based on, a technique that Andrew Loomis created. There are lots of ways to break down a face to draw a portrait, or ways to build up a drawing, and this is just one of them. The most important thing when drawing a realistic portrait, or a good likeness anyway, is to observe and measure. Keep comparing sizes and distances between features in the face when drawing. Or drawing anything actually. Just keep comparing sizes and angles, distances. Now we'll start out this drawing of a face with a circle. Now I like drawing on a light gray background, and I make the sketch on a separate layer. And this comes in very handy when you want to erase parts, or if you want to lower the opacity of your layer. Try to draw a close to perfect circle, and no cheating here, because this is a great practice. Once you have a perfect circle, cut off the sides of the circle like this. Next, we'll make a horizontal line down the middle of the circle. Now we'll mark the forehead, where the hairline will start. And now that I have these 2 lines, I will measure the distance of this area on a separate layer. And by holding Shift, I can make a perfect straight line down. This way, if I use the Move tool, I can decide where the 3rd horizontal line should be. And that line will mark the underside of the nose. And we'll do the same to the side where the chin should be. Now, do make sure that you draw on the sketch layer and not on the layer where you made the measurement line. Keep those separate. Now, the next step is to draw the jaw like this. And now we have a framework to start drawing the features of the face. It all comes down to observing and measuring now. Now remember, you don't have to get it down perfectly right away. Just keep your sketch loose and don't go into details yet. If you build up your portrait slowly, it's easier to correct mistakes. My sketch won't be perfect right away either, but I correct things as I go. As soon as I have all the features laid down, I will start zooming in a bit and work on the individual features. And while doing that, I constantly check how areas relate to each other. For instance, how big is the iris compared to the white of the eye? And the negative space between the eye and the eyebrow, is it the same in width as the eye itself? And how does the eyelid curve? Does it curve up, and how much does it curve up? Drawing is a bit like solving a puzzle in this way. Sometimes I'm even in this mode when I'm not drawing. While watching TV or talking to someone, for example, I analyze the facial features of the person I'm looking at, thinking about how I draw the features. In this way, I'm practicing my skills even when I'm not drawing. This drawing, this sketch, it still has some flaws. Some of the features just aren't completely right yet. But I'll fix that in the painting phase, in which I will lay down the values of the portrait. When I lay down the values, I sculpt the face in a way. And just like I was comparing sizes and angles while drawing, while painting these values, I'm constantly comparing as well. I'm comparing the values. Which areas are darker and which are lighter? Is the white of the eye lighter than the skin, or are the values perhaps about the same? Where is the darkest shadow? Where can I find the lightest light? Comparing all these values really helps painting. It helps getting the right values down. The full process video of this value painting is up on Patreon, so if you want to see more, join me there. If you found this way of drawing a face, these steps, if you found them helpful, and if you like this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video.